What is up, RetroManiacs? Welcome to the Retro Card Chat Podcast. My name is Mike, and I'm from Mike's Retro Trading Cards. And today I am in the presence of royalty. We have the King of Fireball there and the King of Canned Air over here. If you watch the promo video, you'll know what I'm talking about. Look at that. He has it at his disposal. But of course, they are your friends and mine, Joe Day and EP Eric Pahalik. How you doing, boys?
Doing great. I feel bad that I don't have any Fireball with me. That was not a good idea.
Unprepared. You are unprepared.
Wow. And I think I also talked about lint rollers on that video too. So here you go.
You
just carry them with you around the house, like you always have them on you. Like
I have
like a.
You know how like some
holster?
people like cops would have like a gun in every room just in case. I have a lint roller and an air can in every room in my house.
Wow,
that checks out. Actually, I could.
Yeah.
That does not surprise me at all.
Yeah,
this one's
totally
actually
on
almost
brand.
toast. This one's almost toast, but you know it's pretty
Do
great.
you buy them like in quantity?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Wow.
Amazon link below. I'll throw the Amazon link in a pinned comment below. Don't worry. Don't worry.
Here we are all this time trying to get a beer sponsorship. We need to get a Canned Air sponsorship.
Could you imagine?
Wow. Could you imagine? Well, I was like, I watched the Pro Mold video and I saw Joe doing that, and I was like, yeah, of course, it's Joe. And it looks perfect. Like that card is beautiful. If you haven't watched Joe's review on the Pro Mold One Touch, you need to go back and watch it for entertainment value, if nothing else. Like, see his obsession with the Canned Air. It's fascinating.
Okay, let me explain myself for the Canned Air real quick. First and foremost, go back and watch the video. I'm doing a giveaway. We're going to have the giveaway here
2 weeks.
3/11. Yeah, so 2 weeks. Yeah. 2 weeks from today's podcast, we're going to do a giveaway. So go watch that video, learn how you can get some free Pro Molds from me, unsponsored, unpaid for by Pro Mold, coming out of this guy's pocket, okay? Let me explain the Canned Air thing. I am a little OCD. We all know this, right? But I don't think I'm alone in this. If you put a card into a case, or if a card comes back to you from like PSA or SGC or one of those places, and it has debris in it, or it has a hair in it, or anything like that, doesn't it stress you guys out? Probably not, EP. You look behind you. But Mike, like if you put a card into a one touch and there's a hair in it, doesn't it stress you out?
No, I would just probably remove it.
Right. Yeah, that's what I do. I air dust to make sure there's no hair.
I feel like you have a real opportunity to start a business here. Like you could have people send you their cards to place into a one touch, perfectly cleaned off, and then send it back. You can charge like $20 a card.
It's smart. I like it.
I'll do it. Like one hair in the card. So, okay, I get this. Joe got to take care of this.
Yeah.
And if you want,
what do I do? There's a hair on my card. Send it to Joe.
Send it to Joe. And if you want debris and hair in your card, send DP. He'll do that for $5.
Well, I mean, I'm the one with 4 dogs.
So you are that's true.
The odds are it would probably be my house. Yeah.
I think my little dog sheds as much as your 4 big dogs combined. So
I
dust
don't
balls.
think so. Yeah. I have gigantic dust balls and hair everywhere. And I wear black all the time, which is brilliant. But
no,
you know,
I don't own black clothes.
Yeah, pretty much all I own. So
yeah.
Didn't think that out. Well, you know what, guys? I don't know if you know, I say this all the time. This is actually our 100th episode of this little podcast we do here.
Congrats,
Can you believe that? We have missed 1 week out of the 100 that we did.
I remember missing one.
That was Memorial Day 2022. Yeah. Yep. We have been here every Monday morning for people ever since. But 100 episodes.
Crazy.
I think we need to celebrate.
Yeah.
My wife just opened the door and made fart sounds with the little minions fart sound. For celebration.
This has to stay in, yes.
Okay, you're getting the dog wound up, sweetheart. Oh, she just knocked the light down. All right. right, we are back. So as I was saying, Joe, how are you going to celebrate the 100th episode?
I'm going to celebrate with a beer that is already open because I actually dropped this in the fridge. No. Well, yeah, that too. I was so excited about the 100th episode. No, I actually dropped it in the fridge and I'm like, oh man, I'm going to open this up on the show and it's going to explode and it's going to get all my cards. So it did not explode, but I'm going to celebrate with a beer, EP.
I also have a beer. Cheers.
Wow.
Cheers. Mike.
Cheers.
It's the 100th episode.
And I think it's his one beer of the year. Look at that.
Hold on.
Ooh, that was a good one. That was a good one.
And,
boys. And a Rusty Rail glass. Look at that.
Well,
he ain't messing around.
Unofficial channel sponsor.
Yeah. The official, unofficial sponsor.
They only got the first 9.
I did not pour that very well, but there we go.
All right, cheers, boys. Cheers to 100.
Cheers to 100.
And cheers to another 100.
And not only that, we've gotten a couple special messages of love from other content creators, some friends, and maybe a super fan. So let's take a second. You guys mind me pausing the podcast here?
As long as we can watch them. Yeah, definitely.
And let's watch these.
All right.
Today, I'm going to talk to you about one of the most ludicrous, one of the most scumbag scams that we've seen in this hobby. It relates to podcasting. It relates to 3 of the biggest idiots you will come across within this space. They've somehow got to 100 episodes. I don't know how this happened, but let's get into it. Obviously, I'm just kidding, guys. Congrats again on the 100 episodes. You know, we have obviously a lot of podcasts in this space, but there's not many that, you know, are run by people that are true collectors, which is obviously the case for each and every one of you. So, you know, I'm very sort of excited to see what's to come. I always enjoy, obviously, when you guys shout me out or maybe poke a bit of fun at me. You guys help me with my hour-long train commutes, you know, when I go into the office every now and then. So, you know, I appreciate what you guys are doing for this space. I always love the communication and look forward to sort of seeing what's to come. Cheers.
Congratulations, guys, on 100 videos. You're living proof you don't have to be smart, good looking, in perfect shape, know what you're talking about, anything.
Huge congrats to Mike's Retro Trading Cards on YouTube. 100 episodes, what a huge achievement. Man, to be honest with you, I am surprised that EP has stuck around this long, just given that the guy has not gotten a word in probably 100 episodes. Thank you to Mike and Joe continuously talking over him. But in all seriousness, guys, here's to 200, 300 episodes or more. Frank, are we good? Thank God.
I almost fell asleep waiting for you guys to finally do your 100th episode. What the fuck? I mean, come on. You know you can put a video out every day, not just once a week or 3 times a week. Come on, guys.
What's up, fellas, over at Mike's Retro Trading Cards? You know, when you had me on your channel a while back, you guys decreed me as the king of the nerds, and while I appreciate that title and take it very seriously, and I've been watching your channel a while now. Congrats on 100 episodes, and I feel like that title no longer belongs to me. I mean, the 3 of you are, you know, sort of more worthy of the king of the nerds title than myself, I think. I've done my best, but I just can't hang with your all's nerdiness. So I would like to pass that title back to you, and once again say congrats on 100 episodes.
Wow. Okay.
That was not what I expected.
Not what I expected either. I thought people loved this.
You know, I don't even want to say anything, but I do have to mention that Dustin's probably doesn't love it because he does 100 episodes in the course of 3 weeks. So I can understand how he's like shocked that we only have 100 episodes. I don't know. Like he's just churning them out for that money, you know?
In fairness, though, there's really nothing that was said there that isn't totally true. Right?
I mean, it's all true.
I mean, they're right.
Down.
Actually,
quiet
correct.
Down.
Yeah.
EP, quiet down. You talk too much on these shows.
Yeah.
Can you please
be quiet, EP. You're not allowed to talk. This is the problem. This is why people don't like the content, because EP talks too much.
So
clearly.
Just
Let us know in the comments. Do you want less EP in these shows? And the answer is yes.
Yes.
Or we
anything else will be hidden. Right. I just want to say for Dan, the card man, I may not have liked him, but I dislike him even less now. So thanks, Dan.
What a huge compliment.
That is huge. For me, that is a huge compliment.
I don't know how Joe's sarcasm plays on different continents, but hopefully,
hopefully that sarcasm.
Yeah.
Played
Thank you, everybody, for
what? No, stop
helping
it.
us.
Talking over us every chance he gets.
All the time. Come on, EP.
I just want to get
I
one
am
word
the
in.
host of the show. You speak when spoken to. I will give you a question and you can respond if I want to hear from you. And at this point, I think I've heard
if I address you by name only.
we definitely have heard enough. And I will say thanks to all the folks who did those videos.
Let's get into what's going on, guys. Anything new and exciting?
I feel like we've been recording this episode for about 45 minutes.
We have been. I feel like it's been 2 weeks. Right, yeah.
So a couple of things, just a couple of tidbits. So we've talked a lot about how collation back in like the 90s, if you opened up a box of anything, you weren't getting a full set. It was, you get like 10 of one card and none of another. Mm-hmm. I opened up a Star Trek tin last night to put into the pages. I didn't record it for the channel because I did some box breaks of that product. How about a tin? And it was sealed. It had all the holograms. It had everything. It had 5 extra of other cards and was missing 5 cards. A tin.
Supposed to be a complete set, right? Like it's like a master set. It was supposed to be, yeah.
It was, and you could tell it wasn't someone who was, because it was sealed and the cards all look very clean, but it was missing 5 cards and had doubles of 5 other cards. And of course, I'm putting sets together of that set to, sell the extras I have. None of the extra 5 cards I got helped.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
And
Did
I
you have the 5 cards?
Of course not. I had 1, maybe 2 of the cards I need yet. So that's ridiculous. I Impel was not exactly known for their.
If you would have recorded that, you could have sent the video to Impel and they might have reimbursed you for it.
Wait. I would have had to send it to Impel sold to Skybox. Skybox sold to Fleer. Fleer sold to Upper Deck. I could have sent it to Upper Deck.
Upper Deck, I'm sure they would honor.
I love that. It's like 6 degrees of separation there. The other thing I would have mentioned.
Panini or Top. Could you imagine if Panini or Fanatics did that today? Like, imagine if they had this like set that sent out that today, like the way it was on social media, it would just go like it would be the worst thing that was ever done.
Oh
right?
Yeah,
people might actually be happening with Panini. Well, we'll talk about that in a little bit.
The second and final thing I wanted to mention. So our buddy Mike Jones, who might be going to the National with us, he got the okay from the wife, so we might have him coming with us. Cool. Pulled a CJ Stroud kaboom out of a box of Playoff Absolute. Okay. Big card. Bigger than any card I've ever pulled. I think it's even bigger than Drew Jones' money down there has ever pulled.
Yeah.
So the reason I'm bringing this up, and I talked to him a little bit about it, I asked if I could mention it on the podcast. I'm curious what our audience would do with this card. So obviously sell it would be our recommendation. He had it up on a buy it now or best offer, didn't get any serious bites. I said I would put it to an auction. I mean, it's new-ish enough.
Yeah.
And he's a big enough player that it might be worth doing an auction for. He's actually thinking about sending it to SGC to be graded. Now, I think that's a mistake, personally.
Yeah. No.
I think you want to move that unless you're keeping it for some reason and holding it until maybe the National to try and trade it or sell it there before football season. I just think you have to move it now. So people who collect Ultra Modern, comment down below. What do you do with that card? I think the obvious choice is to sell it right away, but I'm curious what other people think.
Yeah, I think you capitalized on the buzz of the product coming out. Was like 2 weeks ago, a week ago, something like that. It just recently came out, pretty recently. So I think you capitalize on that for sure.
And if you grade it, you have to send it to PSA, like, because you're grading it to sell it. Like,
right.
SGC is not going to add value to that card, sadly, but just how it is.
And if you get anything but a 10, you lost money.
Yeah.
So I personally, I think you put it out on auction and just let people have at it.
Yeah.
Crazy pull though.
Oh yeah,
So
I was so excited for him. That was a very
Just-
he said he bought one blaster, right? He bought
Yeah.
one blaster.
Yeah.
Like
One
you hear
blaster.
people say that on Twitter all the time, and you're like, yeah, sure, but he
Right.
actually did. But you let him know, Joe. If he's going to the National, he's not going to all those big parties and stuff we're going to.
Yeah, well, no, he's not getting the invite.
He's not an and one. He's not
No,
going to
no,
be.
yeah. Him and EP can hang out while we're at those parties.
Yeah,
right.
of course.
Yeah,
We'll be hobnobbing with the Jeff Wilsons of the
elbow
world,
rubbing.
and
Oh yeah, for
Nini
sure.
will be, I'm sure, giving us lots of free stuff.
VIP passes to their party.
Of course,
for sure.
absolutely, absolutely. What's new, EP?
Well, I told you guys I was gonna tell a little story about some cards that I listed on eBay, and so I got this. I was asking you about the Sharif Abdur Rahim Flair Ultra rookie, if it would sell in a stack sale, and it probably would sell for in a stack sale for 50 cents.
Yeah.
I listed on eBay for $1.50. Somebody offered me $1, which means I'm losing money on it, and so it's like I declined it, and then they said that same person came back later last night and said $1.10. I was like, dude. So I declined it again and just ended the listing and put it up for 50 cents. So as I was thinking about that, I decided to list this card, which is the Shohei Ohtani Heavy Lumber PSA 10 that from our grading reveal that we posted last week. Go back if you haven't watched it yet. It's awesome, great reveal. But there's one of these listed on eBay, just 110 listed, and that was for $350. Mine I listed for $299, and I set my offer to my minimum offer to $200. And I know that you guys don't like to use minimum offers. 200 is pretty high. And I want to get everybody's take. You guys and the people down below in the comments, let me know, is 200 too high to set it? Like the thing is, I'm not going to entertain any offer less than 200. So I figured I can just set it at that and not have to worry about getting an offer of $50 on a like I said, there's one listed for $350 and mine's $299. So I'm not going to entertain anything less than 200. So that's what I did. What do you guys think?
I think it's the right thing to do if you don't want less than 200, but I mean, I like to get offers that make me mad. So
No. Okay.
That's us, EP. You know that for a fact.
Right,
We like to get
yeah.
angry over the dumbest reasons.
I may have got mad about one last night. I don't
Exactly.
Yeah. And but away from that, the anger of it all, I've actually had people come in low ball offers and then I counter with what I feel is a reasonable counter. And yeah, Mike's Mr. No Counter, but I counter and I've actually got exactly what I was looking for out of it. So like, I think it's happened rarely, a handful of times, but there have been situations where someone came in with a low ball offer. I'm like, no. And I'll hit the counter and end up getting close to my price. So I don't know.
I never counter a low ball offer. Like, no.
Mike, you don't counter anything below like 90% of what you're offering. So
that's not true, but like I'm not gonna start by making the first offer because the low ball offer doesn't count. So like, why should I give up my leverage in the negotiation? That's what you're doing. I've done this for a long time. I feel very confident that you don't counter a low ball offer. If they're interested, like gonna be a person who might actually give you a price you want, they'll send you another offer and they'll send you a more realistic offer at some point. Then you can start countering. But like, there's no point in countering a low ball offer. Just doesn't make any sense. The
juxtaposition of the two stances you have, I decline any low ball offer. I'm not even going to counter them with I'm not going to set a minimum offer because I want to get angry at the low ball offers.
Yes, you're setting yourself up to be angry.
It's hysterical to me. Mike's like, I really need that hate. I need to build it up.
He's powered by hate. It's
a nuanced anger. It's nuanced. No, I like to see how dumb people will be, though. Like the curiosity. I like to learn about the human species and how stupid they can be.
Jane Goodall over there.
I don't know what that means, but maybe I am. Well, this week I did something a little different. I bought a box of 1989 Fleer Retro Marvel that just came out, but it wasn't a real box. I bought it on ePack, Upper Deck ePack. And first time I did that, I actually recorded it. I'm not sure if anybody would want to see that video or not. I could probably whip together a little video of that just in case I wanted to. But yeah, I opened up a whole box and I got a set. only a 30 card set, but you only got 3 cards per pack. And you only got 15 cards and like 15 packs in a box. So really cool though. It's a Fleer set that was just released, Fleer Marvel set, but it's done in the 1989 Fleer baseball design, which like I saw it and I'm like, that's just way too cool. I have to have that. And they have like different colored parallels of it, but they look just like the 89 Fleer baseball design, but they're just different colors. So pretty cool. If you want to see that, Rip, let me know. If you don't want to see it, let me know. But yeah, I had a fun time with that. It was, not super expensive. The Upper Deck Marvel stuff, Joe, can get quite expensive. You might know that, but I think it was like $90 for a box. So it was pretty cool. I had a fun time ripping that.
Yeah.
Ripping.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. You shared a photo of it, and it's like immediately you think of the '89 Fleer Griffey rookie. And so, like to see the Marvel characters, I think you showed us like one of the Spider-Man cards, like the Spider-Man card.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's really, really cool design. So I liked it a lot.
Very cool. All right, well, let's get into it. We've had a lot of celebration.
Before we do, speaking of videos, what's the schedule this week, Mike?
I have no idea.
We don't know the schedule? Oh, okay. All right.
No. I do know the schedule. That's right. I remember now. Tomorrow, you know what we're going to do? We reference episode 1 of the podcast all the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's episode 100. We've done 100 of these. So tomorrow, we're going to drop episode 1 again, just so you can see how handsome and young and skinny we used to be, how smart we used to be, how much we knew about this hobby back then. And you can sit there and go, what happened to those guys? So,
or you can sit there and go, how in the world did they do 99 more of these?
They're really committed to their act.
They are really
credit for that.
And as much as we reference episode 1, how that original video is not over 1,000 views right now. So we're going to try and push it to 1,000 views on the replay.
Yeah. Watch that multiple times, as many times as you can. But we're going to do that tomorrow. Wednesday, we have a little video about content creation. We're going to talk about we think it's good or bad for the hobby, where we think it'll be in a couple years, all kinds of good stuff. We can talk about that stuff forever. I don't know what I'm doing Thursday. I might have a video Thursday. I might not have video Thursday. I don't know. But Friday, we will have 3 cards you need for your retro PC. And I have a technical difficulty in that video as well. So make sure you catch that and make fun of me. But it was fantastic. It was fantastic. I'm having a good week of content. Let me tell you.
It's great. It's great.
There will be an extra innings with EP on Saturday because he recorded a couple of them. It was a last minute thing last week. We just got that one pushed out in time. But and then Joe, I don't know. Joe's gonna have a video on Sunday. I don't know. What's
it's gonna be? We're gonna do Tom Brady stuff this Saturday or this Sunday. Oh, EP, I almost took over your day. So on Sunday, I'm gonna put out the first. Well, Mike's gonna put out, but we're gonna put out the first of the Tom Brady rookie card consolidation plan that I talked about almost 2 months ago at this point when we were talking about our hobby resolutions. I want to take some of my Tom Brady rookie cards, sell them, and buy a big one. So I'm starting it. So that video is going to drop on Sunday. That should be a fun time. I'm excited to talk about that one.
Okay, well, there you have it. And apparently Joe's my pimp because he's saying I'm going to put stuff out. I'm going to be putting out. Yeah, okay. Well,
be monetized over that comment?
What are you talking about? You pimp a car? Like, whatever. You don't even know.
Pimp my ride.
Yeah, I've seen that show. That's a terrible show. Anyway, boy, why are you people still watching this show? EP talked a little while ago about, could you imagine if like a company didn't have something in a product that's supposed to be in there? You buy those sets, missing card. What if you bought a hobby box of Prizm basketball for like $1,000 and the 2 autographs you're supposed to get on average, you don't get 2. You're missing 1, maybe missing 2, but it's not just a random box. What if it kept happening over and over again? There was a breaker, Firehand Sports Cards, that opened 40 boxes of the Prizm hobby. He's a breaker, and it was missing 20 autographs out of the 40 boxes. Run Good Life, who also has a YouTube channel and is a breaker, was missing 7 autographs out of the 12 boxes that he opened out of a case. And then he opened a personal box on his channel. Guess how many autographs were missing out of that one? Both of them.
Nice.
Jeez.
So, like, clearly this is a problem. Or is Panini genius? They're getting people talking about their products again.
Hold on. Let me just, the fine print here. On average. So not on average. I mean, hey, that's their out. I'm going to play devil's advocate and I'm going to shame the devil here at the same time. So devil's advocate, they do have an out. They say on average. There's probably some boxes, I wouldn't be surprised at some point come out with 3, but no one's going to say that. No one's going to say, oh, I got 3 autos in my box.
You sure about that?
Right.
I feel like that's something people would talk about.
Or they lie and say they did and they actually didn't. Now
I got 10 autos in my box.
I got 10 autos. Every pack had 2. No puppies though. But so, when you look at the on average thing, it is they're out. That being said, what in the world are we doing? $1,200, $1,000 to $1,200 a box is ridiculous anyway. And you guys made the point, and you kind of corrected me a little bit a couple of weeks ago when I said, how much do you think those boxes would be if Wemby had autos? And you both kind of said, I don't think the price would change. People aren't looking for autos out of Prizm. They aren't looking for them until they don't get them, though. Right? I mean, because what do you think are you going to get in that auto? I think everyone in their mind is like, the auto that they screwed me out of, that was a black 101 Kobe Bryant auto that I should have gotten. Like, that's what they're thinking. Chances are the auto they got screwed on was probably a Karl Malone $7 silver sticker auto that they would be complaining about anyway. I get the complaints, but come on, you bought a $1,200 box of crap and you expect it to be gold. That shit's on you. I'm sorry you didn't get your autos, but you got on average and you keep buying it. Is Run Good Life going to stop buying Prizm products for the next 2 years? No. He's going to keep buying it and he's going to keep chilling it on his channel. Like, it's just whatever. It's just stupid. Stop bitching about something that at the end of the day does not matter. Wow. Sorry.
Bold.
Slash and rant. You touched on what I was gonna talk about. Like, I wonder if they were like watching our videos and were like, hey, you guys, we're talking about trying to find ways to increase revenue. Come here a second. Watch this video. They're talking about how people don't care about the autos. They only want the silvers. They don't want the colors. So we can just make sure that we don't have to put all the autos in all the boxes.
Brilliant.
Okay.
Brilliant.
Just make sure, but just make sure we don't send any of them to the breakers. Then there's an email the next week. I said, don't send them to the breakers. I picture that happening in the.
Let me ask you that, Joe. But these are people that are breakers that are running a business and selling stuff based on the average. Like, don't you think it's a little different situation when you have customers that are going to be mad because they're not getting potential hits out of this? And it's like it's your business more so than just being a spoiled hobbyist that's complaining that he didn't get the autograph.
But again, there are those situations. I watch plenty of breaks. There are situations where they get more hits than they don't. I mean, I'll watch breaks of Flawless, and this legit happened in the last, I think it was the last year of this past year of Collegiate, where they had, you know how the box has the inner box and then it has like 3 encased cards. They pulled out, each one of the encased cards had 2 encased cards in the slots. So they got 6 encased cards. I didn't hear anyone saying, ooh, don't give me that. You should send that back to Panini because we were only supposed to get 3 encased cards. Like, you're going to run into this all the time. There are things are not always going to be in the boxes. In this,
but 20 autographs missing out of 40 boxes seems like that's a little beyond the on average to me.
I don't know anything about basketball, so I can't speak to who the autos would be, but let's just say it was football. Yes, it sucks that the equivalent of Billy Joe Hobart is not in your box and his autograph is missing. But it's going to happen. And again, we talked about it a couple of weeks ago. The colors are the most important thing in this box. I could understand if there was a consistent amount of colors, because I don't think those are on average. I think they say you're going to get X amount of silvers, X amount of numbered parallels. I don't think they on average those. I could be wrong. Comment below. I'm sure you will if I am. But I get where people are mad because they open up a box of cards and they expect to get something. But it's kind of on them for keep buying Panini products, is it not? Like,
yeah,
but yeah, go ahead.
Like, I'm sorry, you're going to get, it's either that or you're going to get points. Like, what are you more mad about? I just, whatever.
The issue I think that the Mike's getting at here is like this is Prizm. Like this is the product people want the rookies out of. Like, so this is the product that everybody, like, they want the silver Prizm, yeah, and they if they can get an auto, they want to get the auto. Like this is the product for basketball, and the fact that so all the breakers are going to buy it because they know all of their customers want to get it. All the customers want to get into the breaks because it's the product that everybody wants for the rookies. Like this is the product, and for them to not have those, I can see what Mike's getting at, where the breaker, like they're running a business, like they have customers. Like this doesn't look bad for this from our perspective. This looks bad for Panini, but from his perspective, like who's going to break with me if I'm getting boxes where I'm only have half the autos in it? Like this is going to hurt his reputation as much as it is hurting Panini's.
But if it's consistent across the board,
Joe,
I don't think it's across the board.
Do you truly believe, though, that this is just random and the average of 2 autographs per box over the print run is actually out there?
I would bet you the average of the print run is like 1.5, and they are just rounding up. Would that shock you either? It's technically 2, right? Like, and I think you guys might think I'm like, here's the thing. This is an anti-Panini rant more than anything. EP, you should be jumping on board here. Like, this is an anti-Panini rant. Like, buyer beware when you're buying Panini products at this point. Like, do you guys not agree? Like, that seems like a no-brainer to me that, it's not, I'm not on a thin ledge here. I really think if you're going to buy Panini product, expect to get screwed out of autos, expect to get screwed with redemptions, expect to get screwed with points, right? Am I expect to get screwed with quality control? Am I the only one that doesn't like Panini this week, or what? What's going on here? EP, you're Mr. Fanatics. You hate Panini. Why are you?
Whoa! I am pro Fanatics. Like there are some Panini products I like, and like again, Panini Prizm rookies. Like the colored rookies are the cards. Like they're what everybody wants right now.
The colored rookies, right?
Right.
Okay. Not the autos, right?
I mean, people still want autos. Like they're not.
I think the point is you're saying something is going to be in there and then it's not there. That's the problem with all this. Like any company can just go, okay, tell them we're going to get 3 autographs per box and we'll throw 1 in, and like we'll say, oh, it's on average, the other one's averaged out. Like I feel like it's shady that like 2 breakers had so many missing. Like I'm sure there have to be more, and there will be more out there. I'm not seeing other breakers going, oh yeah, but I got like 100 out of my case. Like I don't know. I think it's a slippery slope there, because you can allow a company maybe to flat out lie. I don't know if that's the case. One of the other tinfoil hat conspiracies is that maybe Fanatics, because they run the printing press, is doing it on purpose to like hurt Panini. I'm just throwing that out there. I'm not saying
by the way, you see how quickly EP was like, no, that could never happen. Fanatics.
No, it wouldn't happen. Are you kidding me? That's ridiculous.
Is it possible? I don't know.
Possible, but yeah, that would be the most ridiculous thing.
So out of the 3 options here, you have Fanatics messing with Panini intentionally not putting as many in and lying about it, or you actually do believe that there are 2 per box over the whole print run. Which of those 3 options would you guys go with?
I think it's 1.5 and they're rounding up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like
Can you round up though when you're talking about cards?
Well,
odds,
you have to.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about.
But if it's 1.5, it's not 2. I don't know that you can round up like on odds that you're legally stating for something.
If you have 3 boxes, or I'm sorry, 2 boxes, and you get 3 autos out of them, right? That's 1.5.
Yeah, but I don't think you can legally round up to 2 and say there are 2 per box on average if you're only putting 1.5.
Care about that? I'm curious. Like, Mike, you've been saying this for how long? Panini is trying to steal from the customers with redemption cards.
I'm just trying to understand whether you're saying you think that there are 2 per box or if they're lying. Like, you don't have, well, they're kind of lying. That's not one of the options. I need to know whether you believe there are 2 per box or they're lying and they put less in.
I don't think they're intentionally lying and putting less in, no.
Okay. That was not. So you think that it is actually 2 per box?
I think on average, yes.
Okay.
I think the print run is probably staggering, the number of boxes that they have out there. And although the one break group broke 40 boxes, that's a pretty significant data set. I think that's quite a bit. And to have the luck that he had was really bad. But I also feel like if you probably look at the entire
he ain't running good that week, huh?
Well, that was the other guy, wasn't it?
He only did the case and then the personal box where he got 9.
Yeah, which still, it's still bad luck for those 2 guys for sure. But I feel like over the course of the billions of cards that were printed, it's probably two per box. But just they hit a particularly bad run of it. Like again, 40 boxes is so much though, right? Like.
And I gotta say, I think it was like a year ago we were talking about some different things, and I had mentioned I think we're in the junk RPA era. I take that back. We're in the junk auto era. Can you imagine? Like, I can't fathom opening up boxes 20 years ago and like getting mad that I only got 1 auto, or expecting to get 2 or 3 or 4 autos in a box. There are just so many autos. That's why. You have to have, EP, you and I have disagreed on this. You have to have the Billy Joe Hoberts in there to get the Justin Herbert. You know what I mean? Like, there's just so many autos, and people, what do I say all the time? You can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. Like, people expect autos constantly. And even though, like we talked about a couple of weeks ago, people only care about those numbered cards in Prizm. Those are like the top priorities. But people now expect those 2 autos per box. Yes, they are advertising that on average you're going to get them. But chances are the 2 autos you get are probably going to be combined value of $50 if you're lucky. Because there's just so many autos. You have to have so many people sign cards to shove them into packs because you are printing this to oblivion.
I might be talking on my butt on this. I'm not 100% sure. I think there are more. I think that you see more of the Billy Joe Hobart type autographs in like Flawless and National Treasures than you do in Prizm. I think Prizm has more active players, but I'm not 100% sure about that.
Flawless and National Treasures, you get like Steve Young. Like, Steve Young is the not great player. Lawrence Taylor is the player you're not really going after. Like Mosaic and Prizm and places like that, you're getting the Neil O'Donnells of the world getting all those.
Well, one player you might get is Anthony Richardson. And we talked last week about a potentially fake autograph. That was a good transition.
100 episodes in, man. Transitions are fire.
Good at this.
I rewatched episode 1. The transitions were still pretty good. Not as good. It is definitely
high level stuff.
High level.
I am a professional. But anyway, we talked about the fact that there are small Anthony Richardson autographs and big ones, right? There was a PSA slab that turned up this week. Now, it was only the card was graded. It didn't have an autograph grade, but it was the big autograph. And Joe, didn't PSA themselves even say, oops, that shouldn't be in there?
Yeah, kind of. And I sent you guys the tweet because I guilty pleasure viewing. I watch Roth cards. I know. I watch Roth cards. They're ridiculous. But I do, for some reason, enjoy that content. And he sold an Anthony Richardson big auto in a PSA slab. And it got a few people on YouTube and on Twitter a buzz about it. And someone asked PSA, well, why is this in a slab? And they correctly said, well, it was only slabbed for card grading, not auto authentication, which is an option.
Which is what I said to you too.
Right.
Like, yeah.
And so like, but my point was, but if you're slapping it, you're kind of giving it credence at all. And PSA's response was, well, we aren't slabbing these anymore.
Yeah.
There are still ones out there.
Just one slip past the goalie, just the one.
Just the one. It was just that one, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm paraphrasing here, but what you sent to us was they basically said that when there's a situation that needs further clarification on the autograph authenticity, they will not like slab them for the questionable auto. So it's possible though that may have been slabbed before this was brought to their attention. Like that would be my assumption. Like I did, Twitter's Twitter, right? That people are, oh, well, how do you do that? Like, why is it like, it's totally possible that one may have gotten through before they realized about the difference. Like that's the totally plausible explanation. It doesn't have to be a tinfoil hat thing. They didn't do anything wrong. It just happened that they got one in early before PSA caught it. But go ahead, guys.
Well, my real quick comment, kind of people lambasting Roth cards for selling it. My defense of him was he might not have known what was going on with this thing too when he got it back. Like he probably bought it from someone too who sold it, who didn't know what was going on, and then he sold it to someone else who didn't know what was going on. And I still stand by the thought that the big ones are probably the authentic ones, and the ones that are small are probably auto penned. Like those ones that are small look too perfect. I'm sorry, they do. So it would be hilarious if PSA is kicking back all of the big autos when it was probably Anthony Richardson actually signing those versus the auto pen that looks absolutely perfect in that square. I don't know.
Yeah, Joe, I was going to say, like, you were talking about that last week, and I think to myself, like, they get back these booklets or these pages full of the autograph things, and I wonder if they even know which one was the new one, which was the old one when they started slapping them on the cards. So you don't know if the first ones they got back were all the big ones, or the first ones they got back were all the small ones. Like they probably have no idea which was which. They're just putting them on the cards, right? And
apparently
it's you just don't know. Like I feel like this is a very, very odd situation where Panini probably doesn't know and PSA is trying to figure it out. It's weird to me.
And apparently it's not the only one. It was rough. For the things I do for this podcast, I sat through like 5 minutes of Jeff Wilson talking, and it was almost not worth it. But apparently DTR's autos are there's like 3 different DTR autos. And I noticed that from watching Silver Sports, they do a lot of rips, and DTR had his Dorian Thompson-Robinson, and then he had just DTR. And then on the Jeff Wilson show or whatever it's called, he showed 2 different Dorian Thompson-Robinsons that are spelled out that look completely different too. So, and then we've talked about George Pickens with the pickle and the eye, or like then the dot or whatever. So, like again, unless you're going to send people out to actually witness these and they're not going to, instead of sending in an affidavit, which, prove that I didn't sign these and just have a bad day, like, oh, whatever, prove it,
Well, speaking of them sending cards out to people and just trusting them, there was a box of Aiden O'Connell Immaculate NFL from 2023, like the whole run of his autograph cards, the autograph shields, the 1-of-1s, all of the special cards of Aiden O'Connell were found sitting outside of a dumpster in Las Vegas, Nevada. This story was actually broken by, let me get this right, it's the LGTP podcast, the Let Me Get That Potograph podcast. And he got a text apparently while he was doing a show of some kind from somebody he knew in Las Vegas that worked either in or adjacent to a townhouse complex where Aiden O'Connell had lived. He was no longer living there. He had moved out a while before. And he found a box that was sitting outside of like a shared dumpster. Apparently it had been sitting there for a few weeks because they must have come and picked up the dumpster but didn't pick up anything around it. It had been out in the rain and everything, but he looked at it and it was all of these immaculate immaculate Aiden O'Connell cards, and like everything, like unsigned. And they went on the podcast, the person that has the LGTP podcast went on and clarified what happened was apparently Aiden O'Connell said that he was stolen by FedEx, and this wasn't true because he had moved out before. So apparently he either had gotten them and left them in the apartment, or possibly maybe they were delivered there after he left and somebody was like, what are these? And like took the stuff out to the dumpster. But either way, these cards that are supposed to be in the new product aren't going to be in the new product, apparently. Although I guess Panini got in touch with the guy right away and he sent them right back to Panini. So the whole situation's taken care of, which is good because they also had blank stickers again. And, you know, there's all kinds of fraud that could have happened if these would have gotten in the wrong hands. So bravo to the person who found them. I guess he's not really a collector, so it was good that he reached out, but they've gotten that taken care of. But like, we've seen this before. The other time though, it was a product that was canceled that they didn't make. This one is for an actual product that is coming out in the beginning of April. Like, again, this is the problem though, Joe, with just sending a box of cards to somebody saying, sign them, sign the affidavit, get them back to us. Like, whether he knew he had these and he didn't sign them, or he never saw them or whatever, like it's crazy that in a short period of time, 2 boxes of whole runs of cards were found in trash. What's going on?
I was going to make a joke and be like, thank God it was only Aiden O'Connell and not Anthony Richardson. But you can't even make that joke because you don't know about Anthony Richardson's autographs.
We don't.
But like, assuming that Aiden O'Connell just didn't sign them, I'm going to take it from that perspective first. So assuming that he just got them in and said, I don't have time for this. I'm going to start my first NFL game, so I'm not going to bother signing these 2023 products that are coming out in mid 2024, by the way. I'm not going to bother dealing with it. That tells us how little a lot of pro athletes care about the card world. And that's disconcerting. It's kind of, I've said this before, it's kind of how some of them feel about fantasy football. Like, the reason the NFL is as big as it is because of things like fantasy football, things like card collecting, things like that. So if he got those and just said, whatever, I'm not dealing with this, that's a problem. And that needs to be addressed. And hopefully, and I make jokes about fanatics coming into the hobby and giving away puppies, but hopefully at least Michael Rubin's relationship with the leagues will change that. And the players will have a more vested interest in actually signing things that I'm guessing Topps is still going to send out mail. It's not like Topps is going to just have huge signing days either, especially with how many autos you need to put in products, because that's what people need and want. If it wasn't Aiden O'Connell's fault, I mean, I've crapped on Panini enough today, but I'll crap on him again. How do you not have that sent registered mail that he physically signs it? At least you'll get one autograph out of him. Like, he needs to physically sign for that package, and you need to get registered mail or something verifying that he did sign for it. And if he did and didn't do it, then don't give him whatever money he was going to get for those stickers.
I mean, just to correct one thing, Fanatics had their big signing day for all the baseball prospects like last weekend.
That was just for the rookies. That was just for the rookies.
Well, I'm saying though, like they are. I mean, you could see possibly them expanding that to more. But I mean, they did have the big rookie signing thing where some of them had like signed like 6,000 things during the signing day.
And they had the Arizona house. What was that, last year or 2 years ago? Where
this year again missing. Too.
Yeah. Did stuff go missing last year from that? Okay. Well, so it's not perfect either way.
Oh, it's not perfect, but I mean, it looks like they are. I believe that they are. They're at least trying. It seems like in some way. I feel like this. Well, first off, we figured out potentially what might have happened to those Prizm autos, right? And in theory, this could have happened on any product, right? In theory, it could have happened to any product.
They didn't get enough back.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
I also enjoyed, Mike, how you implied that thankfully this person wasn't a collector, because collectors in this hobby are scammers and dirtbags. A lot of people are, and you could see somebody who is familiar with the hobby knowing what to do with these stickers and everything. And
there are a
really
lot of
stuff.
people, sadly, that would not have sent that back. Like they would have been, oh yeah, look what I got here. And you know, the stickers alone, like, just say what you want about Aiden O'Connell, like with the top rookie quarterbacks not being there, he's actually a hit in that product. You know, he's going to be one of the higher quarterbacks that you can get out of it. And you know, the one point that really bothers me in this is, though, he clearly lied to Panini about FedEx stole them. That was his story. That was what Panini.
And now some driver from FedEx got fired because of it or something.
Yeah, clearly though, why lie about it? That makes me feel like he got them and he just left them there and never got to them. And they probably cleaned out stuff and threw out this box after he left. But yeah, he clearly wasn't telling the truth about that. And why? That doesn't make any sense to me. But yeah, it's what's sad. Dude, you're gonna make money signing these. You don't care. You're not a first round pick. He's not making a ton of money.
That is exactly what I was thinking.
Why wouldn't you want to? Maybe I'm putting blame on him that he doesn't deserve. We don't know the stories about it, but what I do know is it's really freaking weird to find another box of cards like this just sitting in the trash.
And the cards are not the problem. It's the stickers, like you said, Mike, because those stickers don't need to be O'Connell stickers. They can be anybody.
Yeah.
And if you have someone who's good, it doesn't even have to be that good, but if you have someone who's good at Dan Marino autos or whatever, $300 a pop, just start putting them on cards. Right. I haven't practiced. He has a really tough auto. I've been working on it.
Oh, okay.
But
not ready yet.
But those stickers are clear. You can put those over his actual auto and trace them, pull them off, and put them on something else. I mean,
not that you've thought about this or anything.
Not that I thought about it.
really detailed about that.
Well, I'm always thinking. But yeah, those sticker autos that's the dangerous thing, because Aiden O'Connell non-signed cards would be a fun story where these stickers can lead to a lot of actual fraud.
One of the most ridiculous parts about this is, if that box had not been outside of the dumpster, if somebody had put it actually in the dumpster, we would never have found out about it. So how many times has this happened in the past?
Yeah,
where these things have ended up in the trash and stuff like this. I mean, it's probably, I wouldn't say it's common, but we're now looking for it because of what happened last year. But if that box if somebody had actually completed the task, done their job, and actually put it in the dumpster instead of next to the dumpster, we wouldn't even know this had happened, right? This wouldn't even be a story right now.
And wild. I would love to know what was going on at Panini, because as far as they know, they sent the whole run of these cards to Aiden O'Connell, and he said the FedEx person stole them. So what were they doing? This product's supposed to come out in April. Did they decide, we'll put a redemption in for him and we'll hope that he re-sign? I haven't heard any part of this story that they sent him more. They may have, but I don't know. But they've clearly known about this for at least a month or so. So what are they doing? Do they have a plan? Do they not care? Are they going to throw redemptions in and never get them done? Are they making sure they get autographs from him? All this stuff that you shouldn't have to question, but we know how Panini is with the redemptions. You wonder, do they care? In this circumstance, do they care? They're okay, we'll put a redemption in, and if he ever finds them, is that what they're counting on? I don't know. But it's sad that you have to question at this point if they care enough to make it right.
And at this point, I think the answer is pretty clearly no, right?
Well,
like
obviously, from your opinion, what you've been saying today.
Right. I know EP's been defending Panini all day, and I've been fighting against that. But I will say this. I was not
dogs and cats living together.
I know. I was not in the hobby when Panini first took over, right? But someone who was, and I've been like bored and I've been like collating cards and things like that. I've been putting on like old Alico 3 videos. We all love Alico 3, right? Mm-hmm. And it was around the time Panini took over and started putting out cards, and he was waxing poetic about how good the quality control was, how great the product was, how cheap and affordable it was. So that was my fear when we started talking about Fanatics kind of taking over the hobby. Everyone starts off great, but we're here how many years later, and Panini just doesn't give a shit anymore. So like, I'm not saying that's going to happen with Fanatics, but it could. I mean, look at what's going on with some of the sales of their jerseys and the shirts they're putting out. The quality control hasn't been great. And
yeah, they won't necessarily start off great,
right?
By looking at the baseball
uniforms. Right. But yeah, that's my point. Like Panini cared at the beginning. They clearly did, and they just don't anymore because they realized they have a ticking clock and they're just going to scoop up as much money as possible until then.
Yeah, or maybe it was because they were all the Donruss people that were still there.
I think Alico 3 did say, I think it was all the playoff people that were still there. Yeah.
Sorry, EP, cut you off.
That's fine. It's like the person who put in for their retirement and said, I'm going to retire in 2 weeks or whatever or something like that. And so they're like short time in it. Like they're that not that their quality control was good in like 2020 and 2021, but I mean like like it seemed like it was going downhill, but there's been a precipitous drop since they are now short time.
Since Fanatics started printing their cards.
Since Fanatics took the licenses.
Might be something to that. Well, I do know if you sell any of Panini cards on eBay, you're soon going to be paying more in fees on it. Everybody likes to call it
not just Panini cards. Wait, not just Panini cards.
all of them.
Let me finish. People like to call it FeeBay. They'll be having a field day with this one because if you sell trading cards on eBay, your fee is going up an extra 0.35%. And if you sell a card over $10, it's going to be 40 cents transaction fee, not 30. EP, you're the biggest eBay guy here. What are your thoughts about this? Are you done with eBay now or FeeBay?
I'm not done with it. I mean, am I upset about it? I'm not even really upset. Like people, they got to raise their money or they got to raise their rates, I guess. But for somebody who sells low end stuff like that, the small percentages really, really do hurt when you're only making 27 cents on a card as it is. Like that extra
not anymore
0.35% is actually kind of makes a difference. And the 10 cent fee, I have to tell you that back in 2012, there was no 30-cent fee. So that was a new thing that came out, a few years later, or I can't remember exactly when they implemented that. But so the 30-cent fee, as soon as I heard about that, it's like, well, I'm never going to sell cards on eBay again. Here we are, 2024, and I got 1,000 cards in my eBay store or whatever, and a lot of them are $1.50 cards. But that 30-cent fee really is tough, and I'm glad that they didn't make it 40 cents for everything, because that would, that would completely destroy.
You'd have to raise. You might be thinking about it anyway. Yeah. Like the cards, you might have to raise to $1.75 or $1.99, right?
Most of my cards now are $1.65. Like if it's a I don't go for $1.50. I pretty much do $1.65. I started at $1.65, and depending on how many of them out there or whatever. Like $1.65 is more my standard. Has been for like since they raised the postage rates last time. So yeah, I mean, but yeah, it's not insignificant. I'll say that for sure.
And I'm with Mike on this one. I would never accept offers on cards under $2. Like that's great. At a certain point, you're just losing money to make someone's day, And I'm not down for that.
If you're gonna pay $1.35, you'll pay $1.50. That's just my point. Like you're only sending an offer because the listing has an offer on it. Like I feel like your situation earlier with the person that sent the $1 on the $1.50, they would have just bought it for $1.50.
Right.
But because you had an offer, they're like, oh, well, I'm going to we all do that. If somebody, you want the card, somebody has an offer, you send an offer. Why not?
But then could you go from $1 to $1.10? Like that person was ridiculous. I'm sorry. Like
You had an offer on it. It's your fault. You are Panini today. It's all your fault.
You love Panini. By the way, guys, I do have an update. EP did send me a text this weekend. Let me read it. Originally, I thought Thor: Love and Thunder was the greatest comic book movie ever made. I have changed my opinion. Madam Web. He has Madam Web as his #1 Marvel movie of all time. So I just wanted to
15 out of 10. 15 out of 10. I've not seen it.
Aside, yeah, I'm not going to. Joking aside, though, there are certain things that eBay does that are free, but aren't really free because of things like this. Like, you have to think they're paying for that authentication service. We're not paying a fee for it. This is how they're paying for things like that. So you have to keep that in kind of in perspective. It's still the best show in town. You're still getting the most eyeballs. If you can sell on Twitter, great, do that. But you have to also understand, if you sell a card on Twitter and someone says, oh, I never got it, or this card wasn't exactly what I wanted, you have no recourse. As sellers, you have very little recourse on eBay, but at least you have some. With things like Twitter and Facebook Marketplace and places like that, you really have no recourse, and you might get screwed out of that money.
And at the end of the day, people complain, but still got to use eBay. I just listed cards yesterday. Like, you're going to use it because people buy cards there. What are you going to do? That if you want to sell a card, a lot easier to do on eBay, and
and that's
just pay the fee.
That's kind of my point too about Panini. People are going to complain about the prices. They're going to complain about not getting autos. They're still going to buy it. They're not going to stop buying Prizm because that's how card collectors are. It's just going to keep happening. Same thing with eBay. You're going to complain a little bit about the fees. You're going to bitch on social media because you think everyone needs to hear your opinion. And then you're going to use eBay.
You're going to list your cards on eBay. Yeah.
Right.
Pretty much. Yeah. Go ahead, EP.
I was just gonna reiterate, like there's no market. I was gonna say this when I started talking, but there's no marketplace like this for anything really. I mean, if you want to buy almost anything, like eBay is where you can go and do it, and cards are one of their most traded products, right? Like, so I mean, like you're gonna use it and you're gonna deal with the fees. Just change your prices. You have to.
And like Joe said, you'll keep buying Prizm, and Panini is hoping, because they just signed an agreement with the LIV Golf Tour. So they're going to be I'm not going to lie to you. The mock-ups they had of the Prizm Golf looks pretty sweet. It is a nice looking card. They have Bryson DeChambeau. They have I don't even know.
Is Lefty in there?
Lefty is in there. Yes,
Lefty's in there.
Yeah. Sergio Garcia.
Yeah,
other people.
Sergio, yeah.
But of course, there's no Tiger.
No Tiger.
What do you think about this golf set? Like, I kind of feel like, if you don't have Tiger, is there anybody, like, it's a very small market. Maybe they'll find their niche with it, but I don't know.
You hit the nail on the head, Mike. That they need to find different, as Panini, they need to find these different niche markets, because they are losing the NFL. They're losing the NBA. They're losing the MLB and the players in the MLB. So unless they're going to do just retired, which we joked around, retired rookies, have a cool little mock-up of the logo, like, unless they're just going to do that, they need to find these different markets. They're losing WWE too. Like, they're losing even some of their niche markets. So they're going to have
lost UFC.
They lost UFC. So they're going to have to go out and find these different things. I think they have the WNBA license, I think. So, like, they're going to have to find these different things that if they want to stay competitive in the US market and not just tuck tail and go back to Europe and do soccer stuff, they're going to have to do things like this. I think it's a smart move. I think there is a pocket of collectors who like golf cards. You and I, the three of us, I mean, EP's the worst, obviously, but the three of us play golf, and we bought a ton of Upper Deck. Now, chances are the reason we did that is because we were searching for Tiger.
No.
But I was bummed out that the first series of the Upper Deck Golf didn't have Phil Mickelson. I was Team Mickelson. During that whole little rivalry. So, like, I don't know. I can see me buying some of it just for fun. It depends on the price, of course, but it could be a fun rip.
What price point is it going to be put out at? If it's a $200 a box,
that's the
number. I feel like, that's fair. If it 5? No.
No.
4? No.
And I'm not buying
High
first off the
twos,
line or whatever. I just want
it would definitely
box.
have to be under 3, but like I really feel like 2 is that point where I'm like, yeah, I would definitely buy a box.
But you don't have the greatest golfer of all time in the product.
Yeah.
You can't charge over $200.
Although they are going to have autographs and match worn memorabilia cards.
All NFL fans are what the? Are you serious? But that's cool. That is cool. I predicted that back in the day too. I don't know if they still do it with their golf stuff, but that would be a cool hit.
I agree 100% with everything you guys said, the price and all that sort of stuff. And there are a lot of Joe. One thing that you said though is like talking about in the U.S. selling in the U.S. like the golf has like an international market because of the players and stuff in it too. So I mean, if you're looking at for a niche to get into, something that is both international and U.S. is a really good one to get into. And there are a lot of collectors out there. I want to say a lot. That's probably saying too much, but there are definitely collectors out there who are like, I haven't had a card of player X ever. Like there's some players that have never had a rookie card even for a lot of these golfers. So to be able to put that out there, I think is a really good thing. I think a lot of people are going to be excited. And again, like Panini has a lot of iconic types of brands. Yeah. And thank you. There's a lot of iconic brands. And I think a lot of people are going like, I can't get an NFL card, but I can still get my fix of this brand if they are even like a marginal fan of that sport. I know I have family members who are not huge. They've never played golf. They've played golf maybe once or twice, but they watch the US Open. They watch the really big tournaments. I could see a lot of people like that maybe kind of like shifting to some golf stuff if they can only get their Panini fix from the golf cards, you know?
And they're going to do an impeccable set, but like National Treasures, like that would be really cool. They could do some really cool stuff with golf. Let us know in the comments. Are you going to buy golf? Are you interested in golf?
And you made a good point, EP. And LIV Golf is, I think, sponsored by the Saudis. So like
its own,
like so that's not great. But to your point though, the international thing, that would be huge. And they're going to push that product everywhere, not just the US.
Yeah, they seem to have a lot of products in their arsenal that they could sell in Europe and maybe not the United States. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but I still think they're going to be gone. But hey, thank you to everybody for watching episode 100. I apologize for the technical difficulties earlier. No control over that. We got Joe with his canned air
and canned beer.
Canned beer. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers, everyone. Thank you.
Let's do what? 2012. Want to do 200 more? And then we'll quit it.
I'm at least down for number 101.
Okay.
I'm in for 101.
We are committed to at least one more episode of this podcast. But again, thank you to everybody. I can't believe we did 100 podcasts and people are watching this stuff. But hey, I appreciate it. Go, DP.
I gotta say, I pulled up to my uncle's birthday party was yesterday. I pulled up to their house, and our podcast was on my radio. And as I turn off the car, I'm thinking to myself, did anybody in the house just hear me listening to myself?
No.
And then I'm like, how ridiculous is it in 2024? I'm listening to myself in my car on my car radio. It's just a ridiculous thing. I would love to thank you guys so much for listening and enjoying us. Like to
that point, when I mow my lawn, it takes about an hour and a half. I'll throw in one of our podcasts and be like, I made a really good point here. Ooh, what am I talking about here? Like, I'll critique myself as I'm listening to myself. It's kind of crazy if you think about it. But echo EP's point. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. I mean, 100 is kind of crazy. 1,000 subscribers, 100 episodes. It's all been kind of a whirlwind the last couple of weeks. But really, thank you so much for watching. Thank you we do this anyway. We say that all the time. If 5 people were watching or 500 people were watching, we do it anyway, and we just have a great time doing it.
All right, guys. That was a great chat this week, and I will see you next week. Take care, boys.
Adios.
See you, boys.